Good afternoon.
Hi there.
Who do we have here from the county? Is it
Scott Durr.
Okay. Are we ready to start the hearing, or are we waiting for anyone?
Nope, I believe we're ready.
Perfect. Okay, I saw the recording was going, so I'll begin. I'm Laura Westmeyer, Deschutes County Hearings Officer. It's 1:32 p.m. on Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. I'm opening today's hearing. This is case number 247-21-000-762-CE regarding an appeal of a notice of violation issued by Deschutes County to Mr. John Zybach, who is the respondent in this case. And this concerns the property located at 16099 Leona Lane in La Pine, Oregon. Is Mr. Zybach present in the hearings room?
Yes, I am.
Okay, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Zybach, do you have counsel representing you today?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. So I'm going to go over the hearings procedure briefly. First of all, this is obviously a hybrid hearing. I'm appearing virtually. I'm going to ask for your patience for any technical difficulties we may come across. Even though I'm appearing virtually, I'm going to run this hearing the same as with all the normal hearing procedures that we would if we were all in the same room together. The violations the county alleges are of 4 code provisions of the Deschutes County Code, 1504-010, regarding work conducted without a permit under the Oregon Residential Specialty Code, Section R105, Title 13.08010, regarding unapproved on-site sewage waste disposal, 1336-010, which is public nuisance due to solid waste on the property, is what was cited in the notice, and 18.116.095, a zoning violation for occupancy of a recreational vehicle on the property. The proposed civil penalty that the county has put in the notice is $2,000 per violation for 4 violations, so it looks like $8,000 total. Is that correct, Mr. Durr?
It is. There's a error on the citation for the work without permits. That should be $1,000 instead of $2,000.
Okay, 1,000. So it's a reduced proposed penalty. So it's $7,000 total.
Yes.
Okay, so $1,000 for violation of Title 15 and $2,000 for each of the others. Total is $7,000. So that is what is being proposed by the county. In terms of the burden of proof, the county does have the burden of proof and must prove by a preponderance of the evidence that these 4 violations occurred for me to make that finding. That means my decision is going to be based off of whether the county has proved that it's more likely than not that these violations occurred. And in terms of procedure, the county is first going to present its evidence and arguments. The respondent, Mr. Zybach, you're able to cross-examine or question any of the county's witnesses, and then you'll have a chance to present your evidence and arguments, and the county can also cross-examine and question any of your testimony or your witnesses. After the parties have concluded, I'll take the matter under advisement, and I will issue a written decision within 14 days. I do have some required disclosures. I am a neutral third-party decision maker in this matter, and I have had no ex parte contacts concerning the facts or issues at this hearing. I have no conflicts of interest, bias, or prejudice to report that will affect me in this hearing. Does anyone wish to challenge my ability to conduct the hearing?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and swear everyone in all at once. So if you think you might testify today, please go ahead and raise your right hand. Under the penalty of perjury, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will be providing today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you. County, you may proceed with your case.
I'm going to give Mr. Zybach a hard copy of the discovery packet that he's already received, plus exhibits L and M that he has not received. You received those, ma'am, by your, via email. Okay, my name's Scott Durr. I'm a code compliance specialist with Deschutes County Community Development. Like you said, this is case 247-21-762-CE. The site address for the alleged violations is 16099 Leona Lane. And the violations are working without permit, non-approved on-site waste disposal, nuisance of solid waste, and RV occupancy. The county would like to testify to the discovery packet that we just discussed, exhibits A through M. Exhibit A is the complaint from the sheriff's office with attached photos from that complaint that do show evidence of solid waste. There are RVs on the property. Due to the solid waste, it's not able to see any occupancy or proof of non-approved disposal on those photos. Exhibit B is the dial report showing Mr. Zybeck is the owner of the property and has been since 1994. Other solid waste on the property. While doing that first initial investigation, I saw a building that did not look like it had been built to building standards. I further investigated that later. I'll talk about that. Exhibit E is the jacket report from the assessor's office showing what buildings they had on record for that property. And the building that I just mentioned in question is not part of that jacket, that property jacket. Exhibit F is my pre-enforcement notice to Mr. Zybeck at the 16099 Leona Lane. That was sent on March 28th of this year, 2022. Eventually, Mr. Zybeck responded to the the pre-enforcement notice on April 1st. Mr. Zybeck advised that he was not happy that somebody had complained about his property and that there was no one living in an RV on his property and there was no solid waste. He also stated that the structure on the east side of the property has been there for many years and that everything is grandfathered in. Mr. Zybeck stated that he had owned the property for 40 years. I asked Mr. Zybeck at that time if I could come out to the property to prove that nobody was living in the RVs and that how we could proceed to get the other items taken care of. Mr. Zybeck was against me coming onto his property and mentioned he doesn't want to be harassed or have any of his rights taken away.
Mr. Durr,
Yep.
were those communications part of the discovery packet? I didn't see them in my.
No, they were not.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Zybeck, I assured him that that was not my intention to do either of those, and again asked him if I could come on the property and meet with him, and he agreed that he would call me the following Monday and set up a time for that week that I could come out and take a look at and do that. He said he needed some time to get these people out of here, is what he told me. I asked him what he meant, and he told me that.
Sorry.
He told me that he has some short-time visitors. I did not hear from Mr. Zybeck that week, and I left him a voicemail at about 1,425 hours on the 13th of April, and still no response. So on the 20th of April, I left him another voicemail at about 1,509 hours. Still no response. And this was, those two voicemails were called to a number that he had called me on. And I'd physically talked to him. So Exhibit G is the 30-day warning that I sent to Mr. Zybeck at the same address, explaining to him once again, the violations and ways for him to contact me and correct those violations. Exhibit H is another site visit for me to see if there had been any corrections on the property, and there had not been. So Exhibit I, citations 530 and 531 were filled out. Once again, the correct civil penalty is $1,000 on the work without permit. Those were served to the property. Mr. Zybeck was unavailable when the deputy went out to serve those. There was no trespassing signs on a closed gate. So Deputy Connard posted the violations there with blue tape onto the gate. And that was on June 8th, 2022 at 1,400 hours. Exhibit J is images from Google Earth. The one on the top of the images is the last image I'd like to look at. The first one shows the property at 16099 Leona Lane, shows the residence there with, note the trees to the east of the residence. The next photo back towards the front is the same residence with those trees cut down, stacked in that area where they were cut down. And that was in approximately May of 2017 that the trees are stacked up there. Google image from July of 2018 shows the area cleared next to the east of the residence, and then in July of 2020, that's when it shows that there's a structure to the east of the residence. So sometime between July of 2018 and July of 2020, that structure was erected, and the county has no evidence of permits being applied for that structure. Exhibit K is the cover letter to the discovery packet that was sent to Mr. Zybeck. Exhibit L is just the back of the citations explaining to Mr. Zybeck his options on how to take care of those citations. And Exhibit M is from photos. There are photos from yesterday. I just went out to make sure that nothing had been done with the property, which nothing has been done to correct the issues. And that concludes my testimony on the discovery packet.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Durr. Mr. Zybeck, do you have any questions for Mr. Durr?
Yeah, what issues were you talking about that hadn't been addressed?
All of the violations
And you were out,
on the citation.
and you were out there today? Or
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm afraid that you proved yourself, because I didn't ever say that I'd had to have time to get people out of my residence, my property, okay? You proved yourself on that, too, okay? And that's,
Question or?
and I, Your Honor, I object to these charges here because they're untrue. And the officer, go ahead.
Mr. Zybak, so you're gonna have an opportunity to present your evidence and arguments and state your objections.
All right.
In your opportunity to present your case. Do you have any further questions for the county before you do that? Or for Mr. Doerr in particular?
Yeah, where do you come up with multiple RVs on my property and people living in my property?
Like I said in my testimony, I never could prove that there was people living in the RVs. The complainant said there was people living in your RVs. You are the one that said you had to get people off the property.
That's incorrect, and that's a perjury lie. A lie, straight up lie. Let's see here. Okay, I guess that's it for now, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Doerr, does the county have any further witnesses?
No, your ma'am. No. I was gonna say honor, I said ma'am, so.
Okay, Mr. Zybak, the county has rested the case. You may proceed if you wish to testify.
Yes. Okay. Okay, how do I show you the pictures?
If you have, do you have copies to provide to the county and to me?
No, I just have the pictures that,
Oh, they can take them, I can make copies for later.
yeah, you can go ahead and, I just have them, I can get them back later or whatever. But anyway, I'll show you where they said, look bad. And the officer that came out, she happens to be a dog catcher.
For 1 second, if you do have evidence to provide, let's make sure everybody has it in our hands, including myself.
Oh, I don't have it, I just
So,
made one
Mr.
copy.
Doerr,
I only made one copy.
Yes, ma'am.
is there a moderator facilitator right now who can email me the exhibits?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay. Okay, so, Mr. Zybak, it may take a couple minutes for me to see the exhibits and for the county to receive the exhibits. But if you want to go ahead, we will take them.
Okay, take pictures.
Yeah, no, I can.
Okay, these are the ones that I had someone take pictures, and also the other people around on the street there that have things in there. And like I said, what I was saying, Your Honor, is that this lady happened to be a dog catcher, and she came down on the dates. I think they're right here. She came down on like, no, I've got them wrote down, but it's around.
November wasn't the first one.
No, the first time was it was November. Was it November? Yeah. She came down to the property for some reason. Someone told her to come here. I don't know why she came to my property, because there's other properties there that are way, that got stuff on them too. And but she came in and at that point she just, I guess, looked around. But then she came about 2 months later, or a month later. She came about a month later and took a couple pictures. And then she made this complaint, I guess, back in November. I don't know the dates exactly. I got them wrote down. But and she made the complaint, and she's a dog catcher. And then she left, and then she came back and took some pictures. And then on her paperwork said that she'd testify and willing to testify and this and that. And then that was about 2 months span right there. And then about another 4 months, then this guy here comes out and does this stuff. because of it. Now, I'd like to know why this dog catcher came to my place first, and then come back and took some pictures on whose word, or who told her to go and do that, you know? She just didn't do it on herself. She's a good dog catcher, you know? And that's, and what she said, that there's multiple people living on my property and multiple RVs, and let me see, you know, hazardous like urine or body
Waste.
waste, you know, there was nobody living in my property and in my trailers.
One trailer.
One trailer, and, or anywhere else on my property. And they said they got multiple RVs and multiple people living there, and I did not tell him or ever say anything like that, what he said, that I said to him, and them statements, at no time. I told him that these, whoever he got his information, that they were totally wrong. And I didn't do anything to my property because there was nothing to do to it. How could I fix something that's not there, you know? And also the permit that he's talking about, my property is grandfathered in, and I've never ever completed my project working on my place, okay? I've been busy doing stuff, and material that I do have on my property is wood and stuff like that, and if somebody needs something, you know, or they can't afford it, I usually end up giving it to them, you know, or helping them fix it or whatever it is, and that's, I have stuff for that nature, and
It's all
And I-
construction material.
and it's all construction material and stuff, and so I don't, his pictures that he took, he blew them up and sucked them in and made it look like I got all this trash and all this stuff around, and hazardous material and this stuff. Well, it's not so. And I got pictures, I had a lady take pictures of my property, shows how I'm working on my property, I got flowers, I got everything, and how nice it is, and I've been working on it, and every day, and I don't appreciate this dog catcher. Somewhere along the line, somebody had invented to have her come out to my property and do this, and because there was no reason to do it. And there's other places on the property down the road that I got pictures of, and people way worse than my place, that far away from being hazardous or whatever. And my outhouse is grandfathered into, and I have my rights to build on my property and to finish my project, but I'm getting harassed and everything by whoever these people are that's harassing me and causing me all this trouble. And I don't go around harassing people. I don't care what anybody else do. I mind my own business, and I'm working on my property, and I have the right to do that. And this is just a vengeance from the police department to do this. And I know why, but I could always tell you that later as it goes. And the reason why is this police officers come out to my property and did bad to my property and me and my home. And I talked to the sergeant of the patrol sergeant of the over him, and he told me, "Okay, John, tell me what happened." And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do an investigation, and if I find out that you tell me not the truth, then I'm going to file charges of district attorney on you. I said, "Okay, that's fine." And he says, "If I find out that the police officers are lying and did all the stuff that you can tell me, then I'm going to press charges to the district attorney on them." Well, he calls me back. I go and see him, tells me about 4 or 5 times, "You sure you want to see her?" I said, "Sure." I said, "Yes, I do. I want to hear, that's why I'm here. I want to hear your investigation report, what you came up with. Well, he says, well, I find out you're telling me the truth on everything, and the police officers that were involved in this stuff, I'm filing to the district attorney's office on them. Well, he did, and the district attorney's office didn't do nothing about it. Okay, well, they did a lot of damage to my property and my things, illegally. And so, it's about the same time that all this happens, and the police, the dog catcher comes along and just stops at my house and starts, does a complaint with him. And then about 2 weeks or something like that later, you can see where she pulled up and took some pictures and then says all this stuff, that there's multiple people living on my property, RVs and all this stuff, which was untrue. And then 4 months later, this code guy shows up doing the stuff. So I guess that's about all I have to say, Your Honor, for now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zybach. I have two matters we'll go over. So I have received an email. It looks like there are 10, the PDF of 10 images. Is that what you're asking to receive as evidence?
Yeah, the pictures we took, yes.
But,
These pictures, he wants to know, can she accept them as evidence?
yes, for the ones you took?
Yeah, the ones I took.
Okay, yeah, yes.
Okay, and Mr. Dorr, does the county object to this evidence
No, ma'am.
being submitted?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to admit these as evidence and we'll call them respondent exhibits.
Did you give them the one where other people's places? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I need to add a couple, too, ma'am. Your Honor.
Okay, I see 10 images. You have more images?
Yes.
Or more?
These are pictures of the two properties on the same street as him that have actual junk on their property right up to the roadway, not in the very back where his stuff is all stacked, organized. It's all construction material, all separated by size, what it is for. And there's walkways between everything. There's no safety hazard. There's only one RV and it's loaded full of stuff. There's no way somebody could ever live in it. And so these are just pictures of property on the same street. If she was just driving down the street and decided to stop because it was junky, you can't even see his stuff unless you actually go inside the property. His whole front of his yard is done with flowers and everything else, and all the stuff in the back is, like I said, stacked according to windows,
Fruit trees.
lumber. It's all construction, useful construction material, all separated and sorted, not unsafe.
Okay, and Mary, I know that you had sworn in as a witness, but would you state your record and your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Oh, Penny Carter, Carter.
P-E-N,
PNMY.
thank you.
And I've known Mr. Zybot for 2.5 years, and no one's ever lived on his property, ever. Even when I needed a place to stay, I couldn't stay there. I couldn't, so he's never let anybody stay on his property.
Okay, in regard to the exhibits that are proposed, I am not going to admit those if they're just exhibits of another property. That's not anything I'm going to have a finding on, so it's not relevant for this case.
There's two houses down
I
from
know, but it
mine,
doesn't matter, she doesn't want to see
And,
them. She just wants to pertain to what her
and-
case is.
both ways, so, I'm just stop
Yeah,
there.
but he was just trying to understand why this person would just stop at his property when you can't even see anything when you drive by. But these other properties, nothing was done to them, but their stuff is out in the open, that's all. Trying to figure out why this was done, why
It's
this person
harassment.
filed a
That's what it-
complaint. Because this stuff is very organized. It is, it's not junk, it's all very expensive lumber and stuff that he helps give other people when they need help with material they can't afford. And it's, like I said, it's all stacked neatly, all separated.
There's not pee or poop.
There's no human waste back there, and there's no one living in that one RV that's back there that's full of, that's used as storage.
Okay, thank you for your testimony, both of you. Mr. Dorr, do you have questions for either Ms. Carter or Mr. Zybach?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I do have one question for you, Mr. Zybach. So I heard I've received and heard evidence and your testimony and from Ms. Carter on 3 of the 4 alleged violations. I don't think I heard anything in regard to the unpermitted structure, so I just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything, and if you did want to speak to that.
On which part now?
On the unpermitted structure,
Oh,
saying that you did without permit.
The structures, I've been working on my place for many years now, and I've been getting harassed by this code place, and I never ever finished it, and I had grandfather's right to work on my property and to do what I want to do, and all the permit and all that stuff was like from a long time ago that I had, and it was posted on the tree out front and all that stuff. I don't know whatever happened to that, but anyway, it must have blew off or whatever. But I've been working on my property, and I just haven't ever got it done yet, you know. I'm doing it by myself. I'm not, you know, doing, and everything is not built it's built very strong and very sturdy because of the snow and everything. It's not what Mr. Durr stated. And I'm just busy working on my property every day. And now this hung, you know, hanging me up again to get my stuff in out of the weather. You know, my stuff's been outside for many years, covered up, and I'm covering it up and covering it up, and it's all nice stuff that well, the weather's just wrecked a lot of my nice stuff and just destroyed it, and I can't replace it because it's nice tables, grandfather chairs, and just everything. I mean, it's just destroying my stuff, and I've got to get busy on it because I'm only going to have a few more months to get it done, and I'm probably not going to get it done this year either. So we're going to be outside again because of this, you know. And I, like I said, I don't bother, and I don't care what anybody else is doing on their properties or whatever they're doing. But this code or whoever, these police officers that's got this vendetta on me to cause me trouble and everything, you know, it needs to stop. And because it's not right, and you're violating my rights, the Constitution, and I'm not very happy about it, Your Honor. Just like it's taking me away from getting stuff done and living in my property and having a nice piece of property and stuff, you know, and out of the warm, bad weather and everything. And now it's caused me to not be able to do what I got to do to get things taken care of for this winter again, you know. So, all right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, any further witnesses from you, Mr. Zybach?
Right there, she can testify too. Yeah. What? You're telling her about all the complaints and everything? I mean, you got to say something. I mean, you're right there.
Can I just go ahead and,
Here's your notes.
okay, well, I know what they say.
Okay.
Yeah, I can testify that there's nobody living there, and there hasn't.
Oh, pardon me, would you please step to the microphone if you're going to testify?
And I had other witnesses that was going to come today, but they had appointments for dental appointments and stuff like that. They're going to witness too, but they couldn't make it.
Thank you for that. It will be helpful for the recording to speak into the microphone. And if you could start by stating your first and your last name and spelling your last name.
Okay. Dale, Dayle, Wilson, Wilson.
Hey, Ms. Wilson, please go ahead with your testimony.
Yeah, I can testify there's no one living on the property and hasn't. And that with they're saying the solid waste, it's pretty much like what they said, that it's all construction material that he's going to be using. He's got it all stacked and organized. And there's no sewage or that kind of thing that's, going onto the property or anything.
Multiple RVs.
And, so nobody living in an RV can't even get into the trailer, so.
And there's nobody living in there, multiple RVs or people. You heard me on
I
the phone.
already said
And You
that.
heard me on the phone. Did
All
you ever hear me ever say that I had to get people off the property?
No, I didn't hear you say that, so.
Okay, well, let her know.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about that. He needed time to get the people off the property because there's been nobody there. So,
R2, there's no sewage.
I
The
said
septic-
that,
I know,
John,
I
you're
know.
not listening.
Well, he wanted me to get things taken care of. Well, there's nothing to take care of. Because
All right, we-
they're it's a phony.
Anything further, Ms. Wilson?
no, not this time.
Mr. Durr, any questions for Ms. Wilson?
Yeah, I do have one question. Were you there when I was talking to him on the telephone?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Do you remember any part of our conversation? What was
I
said?
don't remember all of it, but I
Do you
knew.
remember that specific part? Do you remember what we discussed? Any further?
Some of it, but not all of it.
Just that part's the only part you remember of the
Well, just
conversation?
that, and that, he didn't have anybody living there, and
No further question.
Okay, thank you for your testimony.
okay.
Mr. Zybach, any further witnesses?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, the parties have concluded their case in chiefs then. Does the county have any closing arguments, or would you like to speak to the proposed sentence at all?
Yeah, we could do
Mr.
that.
Mr. Durr?
Yeah.
Proposing what? Proposing what?
Are you ready?
Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry, what's that? I didn't hear you.
Please go ahead.
Okay. The county just asked for full fines to be imposed immediately, payable in full. The county requests that violations be corrected within 90 days with authorization to begin daily fines after 90 days if the violations are not corrected.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Durr. And Mr. Zybach, do you have any closing arguments, or would you like to speak to the proposed sentence that the county has just recommended?
Yes, on both of them, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
Okay, when I spoke to Mr. Durr on the phone, I told him that where we got his information, it was incorrect, and that I didn't, on that, the first one, I didn't have no body waste or hazard material or whatever they want, whatever he said, like fetus or body fluids or anything coming out of any RVs. And I didn't have no one living in any RVs, like they said. I had one RV, and no one was living in it, and that was the end of that one. And the other one was the end of that one for hazardous body fluid or any of that stuff on my property or anybody doing that on my property. And then the third one was
There's the building, and then
and let me see here, violation. These violations are totally wrong. And solid waste, and junk on property, that, there's no junk on my property. And non-approved on-site wash,
Without permit,
what?
without permit, I think.
No, it's
Oh,
disposal or something. Non-approved on-site waste disposal, waste disposal. That one's totally wrong, too. Let me see, where's the fourth one on here?
it's on the other page. No, no, right here.
Oh, okay.
And that's the
And
RV.
RV occupation, yeah,
Occupancy.
occupancy, people living in an RV. And then, where's the one from the police officer, Bill?
It's,
No,
it's right here.
where it shows her name, she wouldn't witness and all that. Okay, and,
It's right here.
okay, I want to let her, what she said. Are you willing to testify before, okay? She says, details in question of complaint, excessive solid waste and multiple RV occupancy, supported by image. There's no image there. Let me see. And like I said, she made the complaint, and then, like I said, she comes back 2 weeks later or something like that and takes some pictures, and then, what was it, what the time frame, what are the dates? Well, the dates are on the pictures that she pulled up and took some pictures of my place. But she made the complaint to the code place, she made the complaint, on
November 16th.
November 16th, where's that? Oh, where's that? Oh, yeah, right here. On Tuesday, November 16th,
2021.
2021, and then she comes up to the pictures. She pulls up, let me see here.
Yeah, that's what it was. Taken in November.
They usually got the date and time that she took them.
Yeah, it's not in that packet.
Okay. They're in,
Oh, they're right here.
oh, they're right here. Then, on 11/24/2021, she pulls up, take these pictures, right here, 11/24. So that's, 11, what was that?
It was like a week later.
About a week later, she pulls up and takes these pictures. And then, there's some more that she.
No, that was all that
Okay.
she took.
Okay, then, so that's a week later, and then it goes from that time frame
To March.
to March, and the code people come in to play here, and come and take pictures and run around my property, and then she comes back and puts this stain on my gate.
I don't think it was her.
Yeah, they said it was her.
It's,
He didn't do it. He said he
No.
didn't.
it's somebody else. Right here. No. Well, it's on there somewhere.
Okay, and they say the date of violation here, it says that it's June 3rd, 2022 now. And then, what's the date posted? Date posted was 6/8/22. And that was for non-approved outside waste deposit, solid waste on my property, on the ground or whatever, solid waste, and which is not true, and all of them are not true. And like I said, my property's grandfathered in for me. I bought it grandfathered, and I've been working on it ever since, but I've had to stop working on it because of this harassment that I've been receiving through the county. And I could not do anything because there was nobody living in my property, and I never ever did tell him that I had to wait until I get some people off my property and this and that, and they say that I had multiple RVs there with people living in them and pooping on the floors and ground and whatever, and that's all untrue. There's nobody living in my RV, and there's nobody, body fluids or hazard or anything going on my property. And like I said, I had the grandfather right and grandfather right, the ORSs and the stuff that I looked up on it. It says that I have a right to continue working on my property and to complete it. And that's what I've been trying to do. And, you know, like I said, this is totally, I mean, a dog catcher pulling up my property, and all these other people down the street and this and that have stuff all over the place, and she didn't pay any attention to them, and vehicles out on the street and stuff like that. That's it really gets me. I don't. The only conclusion I have is that she was put up to do it from these other police officers, from that the complaint and the charges that the supervised control officer, lieutenant or sergeant, sent to the district attorney on the police officers that were involved in the situation what they did to me and my property. And so they tally-weighed on me, and I got her to come swinging up on my property to do this. And then it's unexplainable, you know. And because I don't bother nobody, my place, I keep my place, the ground and flowers and fruit trees and everything, and working on my property. And I'm not minding bothering nobody, or I don't care what anybody else is doing. Why do they have to do this and care about my property? You know, there's no reason other than, like I said, it's harassment, and that she was put up to it. I wish she was here today because I wanted to ask her who put her up to it, you know, to do this. Because everyone I know, whenever I mention the name of the lady that did it, they said, well, really? She's a dog catcher and everything. Why she come in my house? I don't got no dogs or no bad dogs or anything like that biting people or anything for her to even be on my property. So I guess that's it for now, Your Honor, but all these violations are wrong, and I, like I said, I'm in process to, well, I want to be compensated for all this wrongful things that they did here and waste my time and keep me from working on my property and making all these false accusations on my property. And I'm really upset about it. And I'm in the process of, I'm going to get an attorney on this, and because I'm tired of it. You know, I moved over here to this property to live my life, not to be here in this courthouse and have a bunch of scumbags always saying this or that or whatever on my property, making assumptions or whatever. And I'm not doing nothing wrong. And then these are all lies. So that's about it, I guess, Your Honor. I'm just really upset about it. You know, I got things to do, and because I only have a short time to do it over here because of the bad weather we live in, and it's not like I live in a nice area. And when this happened like this, it took me away, and it totally makes me dysfunctional on doing things on my property, like I should be able to do, and have the right like anybody else has, and not be harassed or these false accusations like this. You know, I'm a senior citizen. I'm 67 years old, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. And I'd like to complete my project that I started about 35 years ago without being harassed about my outhouse that's grandfathered in, or about anything else that I got grandfathered to. You know, so I guess there's the law speaks about it right there. I looked it up, grandfather rights and everything like that, and you know, it's wrong what they've done. So, I guess, thank you, Your Honor, and, I don't know what to say, but it's wrong. But all these charges are false. And,
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Zybach.
thank you.
If there's nothing further, I'll close the record for this hearing. I'm going to take the matter under advisement and I will issue a written decision within the next 2 weeks, and I'll be mailing that to the parties. This hearing is now adjourned, and there's no further hearings today, so I'm going to go ahead and close, just adjourn the meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor. And if there's anything